Welcome to the Workamper Show, brought to you by Workamper.com. This podcast helps you discover how to finance your RV travel dreams. Each one of our episodes will introduce you to people who are already living the RV lifestyle or to work camping opportunities all around the U.S. You'll also learn how to hit the road the right way and make the most of every opportunity. Now let's turn over today's show to your host, Greg Gerber.
On today's episode, we head to the breathtaking Catskill Mountains of upstate New York to visit the Catskill Mountains Gilboa KOA to talk with one of its owners about the many work camping opportunities available there. Today's episode was sponsored by Workamper News. Creating a resume can be a cumbersome and intimidating task, especially if you haven't written a resume in many years. The unique Workamper News Resume Builder takes you through a step-by-step process to build a complete resume with all the information Workamper employers are looking for when reviewing applications. Once complete, your resume can be emailed to anyone, and the software tracks when and to who you have sent it. You can even print out the resume or make it into a PDF, which can then be uploaded or emailed. Some employers never advertise, not on Workamper.com or anywhere else. They find all their applicants just by searching the Workamper News Resume Database. If you don't have a resume in the Workamper.com database, you'll be missing out on some great opportunities. To open the door to more work camping jobs, become a Workamper member today by visiting www.workamper.com. Owner Cathy Reinard purchased the Catskill Mountains Gilboa KOA just a few years ago and has transformed it into a scenic retreat where guests can relax by the Scolari Creek, surrounded by mountain views, bald eagles, and plenty of wide open green space for recreation. Cathy described her park as being terraced along the side of a mountain, offering about 300 sites ranging from rustic tent spots to deluxe full hookup RV sites and even cozy cabins. She said her goal is to give guests a variety of price points and experiences while maintaining KOA's signature clean restrooms, family-friendly amenities, and peaceful atmosphere. Because of the campground size and busy summer season, Cathy brings in about 8 to 10 work campers to fill positions in maintenance, housekeeping, at the front desk, and in leading activities. She welcomes families, couples, and solo work campers and values a team that blends the energy of local high school and college students with the experience and reliability of work campers. To tell us more about her campground and the opportunities to find work camping jobs there, please welcome Cathy Reinard, one of the owners of the Catskill Mountains Gilboa KOA, to the show. Thanks for joining me today, Cathy. I really appreciate it. Tell us a little bit about your campground and where it's located and how long it's been in business.
All right. My campground is called the Catskill Mountains Gilboa KOA, and we have been a KOA for 2 seasons. I bought it 2.5 years ago, so I ran it the first season not being a KOA because we had a lot of things we needed to do to make KOA standards. Biggest one was get rid of the outhouses and have real bathrooms. A significant thing. It is absolutely gorgeous. We are multiple levels on the side of a mountain, and the levels are fairly significant drops between one level to the next as we work our way down to the water. The water is gorgeous. It is called the Scolari Creek. It varies dramatically in water level. Part of that is because on one side of us is the New York State Power Authority Dam, and the other side is the Gilboa Reservoir, which is one of 2 drinking water sources for New York City. So the water flow can change a lot depending on who needs some and how much it's rained and everything else. But it's a fun place to go splashing in the creek, floating in a tube. The water, the mountains, the beauty is what made me decide that I needed to unretire and buy a campground again. And I love it. And I love doing it. I love just being there. There's nothing more peaceful than just being at camp.
Absolutely. The stress melts away when you're sitting around the campfire. That's for sure.
It does.
How many sites are in your campground?
We have approximately 300 sites. We have a permit for more. Long story to that, years ago, there was another level on the property that flooded out. We don't have anything down there anymore except like mulch and rock storage. So we could add up to that number again, getting permits for work, that sort of thing. But 300 is plenty. It's plenty. It's a lot. And it's just beautiful. We have tent sites for rustic ones, deluxe tent, KOA deluxe tent sites. We have full hookup sites, 30 or 50 amp, all different sizes. We try to have multiple price points. So we have an option for everybody to come and stay with us. We have some cabins now. We have some glamping opportunities that we're doing with a group to see how that works out for us. We just like trying new things.
Absolutely. When you said that you're on a mountain, are the sites level?
It's pretty level, shockingly. We are still doing some grading. It is an older park. It was built in the 50s and 60s, a lot of it. They started out years ago doing tin can rallies and on a farm. And so it is sometimes what I call my lovely infrastructure nightmare, because since it is older and predates zoning in New York State and all of that and building codes, sometimes we find things. We just don't necessarily always know what we have, but we are committed to fixing everything the right way and moving forward. And we love it. And it's beautiful. And we've done a lot. We've done a lot to make it nicer. One of the things that I really like is because our store is not visually near our entrance, we have put in a license plate reader system. So we have an electronic gate system. Our registered guests can come and go as they please, but reminds people to come up if they're a visitor to register so we know who's in the park. And I just like that feature. I think everyone else does as well. And we've done a lot of different things to improve the facility, and you just can't match the scenic beauty. It's just breathtaking. And then we have 2 nesting pairs of bald eagles. So if we're really still and careful, a lot of times we get to see them flying in the park. I'm always trying to snap a picture, and I have yet to get anything that isn't a blurry mess. But one of these days I'm going to get a good picture, but that's really exciting too.
The nest is located right in your park?
Yes. Because we have 95 acres and lots of trees, so it's on our property, but not easily visibly found. It's not a park that's developed or anything. We do have a lot of wide open green space, which everyone loves, and we love too. And it allows us to play a lot of bigger games, like whether it be soccer or softball or whatever. We have multiple grass fields where we're able to do that. And if families end up wanting to do some stuff of their own that isn't one of our organized activities, I've got green space to do it in. Our average sites are really wide and big. And so even though we do not currently have a single pull through, although we're building 2 for next year, our sites are big enough and wide enough that people can figure it out. And we do escort to every site. We're more than happy to help them. The park's just too big. It's too easy to get lost. So I wouldn't want people driving around with a ring behind them lost. So we definitely always escort.
And no more outhouses, you said.
No more outhouses. We did the very best Wi-Fi system we could put into the park. They came back this past year, tweaked it some more. We'll be continuing to work on that. The company that installed it for me, GB Wi-Fi, said it's really about the most challenging install they've ever done because towers are line of sight, and with various levels up with a mountain, it's just tricky. We have to do a lot of tree trimming every year for it, but it is something we're committed to at least delivering the best Wi-Fi that we can for the location that we have.
That's great. You folks hire work campers from time to time.
We do. I love having a mixture of local hire and work campers. I think they bring different things to the table. And a lot of times our local hires are high school students or college students. Oftentimes it's their first or second job they've ever had. So they're fun to work with. But then we love the experience and depth of the Workamper program. I think it's changed a lot. When I years ago owned my first campground, work campers were retired. But now we're seeing other people that just have embraced a lifestyle that are considerably younger. So we run more of the gamut of the ages nowadays and different expectations and skill sets. And yes, we do hire work campers.
How many work campers do you bring in every year?
It depends, and it depends on how many hours somebody wants and what we have going on that year for specific skill sets. But I would say probably 8 to 10 usually, because we are such a large park and we have so many sites. We do not mind hiring singles. I know that there are parks that won't hire singles because they think they're giving up a site for just one individual. But for us, honestly, my opinion is they're a lot easier to schedule because I find that the demands of what we oftentimes want out of one part of the pair or the couple or whatever, where we would like to have them work and the hours we would like to have them work, and even the days of the week can be vastly different than what the other person would be working. And so sometimes couples are actually hard to schedule.
I can imagine. Would you ever consider a family to be work campers?
Absolutely. I have had that in the past at a different campground. I've owned more than one campground in my lifetime, although I have told everyone I am dying out of this place, and I literally mean it. And my daughter is a minority shareholder, so we already have that in place, literally. But yes, I have no problems hiring a family if it fits for them. We are a seasonal park. Unless they homeschool, if they have younger children, we wouldn't be able to accommodate for a school calendar year. But yes, we have hired families in the past.
Are teenagers able to get jobs with you? It sounds like they could. Okay.
Yeah. And we do have some local hired teenagers. Yes, we do.
What's the minimum age to work in New York?
With working papers, you can work at a fairly young age. I might be 14, 15.
Okay.
We only hired this year for the first time in a very long time. The park hadn't done it previously. We hired 17-year-olds because I don't know when the law changed, but it changed at some point because they are allowed to use gas-powered equipment. And for years, they were not. It doesn't mean we can let them use a chainsaw. We're not, but they can mow grass. And for years, they couldn't, which was the weirdest thing because every kid's mowing grass at home, but they weren't allowed to, but they are now. Granted, we make sure that they know how to use the equipment. We have workman's comp insurance for all of our employees sort of thing, but they can. But that would be the youngest that I would be looking to hire because even then we have hour requirements during the school year, when they can work, when they can't work, time of day, which again requires some scheduling and some but we will hire that age.
You said you're a seasonal park. When does your season run?
We are Mother's Day to Columbus Day. I like that time frame because it's easy for people to remember. The dates do shift a little bit, but it is a date mix that people can remember. And I find that having a little bit shorter season than some other parks actually gives me the opportunity to have, I think, the best of work campers. And my reason for that is there's a lot of parks vying for staff in the summertime. And there is a more limited number of parks that are open year round or in the wintertime. So by being a little bit more flexible on arrival or departure schedules, we find that we can get a really good team.
Oh, very good.
So we'll take somebody as early as like the middle of April, because that's about the soonest we can get water on. And we will have people work through the end of October. I have one work camper couple that is staying longer, but they're part of my management team now. But they love being wanderers. So towards the end of November, they will take off and we'll see them back again in April. And they're just going to go wander and play.
That's the best way to do work camping, to be honest. Yeah. How many hours a week do you expect the work campers to put in?
What we try to do is level set expectations that there can be times that you'll only have 20 hours. There could be times that you would be closer to 40, and heaven forbid on a holiday weekend, if we really get slammed unexpectedly, you could be doing overtime. But they are working 30, 32-ish. The more flexible they are, the more hours we can give, which is why we wrote our job description this year as loader. Although we will have everyone assigned to a primary department, whether it be housekeeping, front desk, activities, maintenance, whatever, we want them to be very aware that if somebody is sick or something happens, we had a spell this year where honestly we had half our staff down sick. And so we were all doing crazy stuff, and I made sure that I was there pitching in, helping out, doing whatever we had to do, because sometimes you just have to do that. We're flexible if they're flexible, I guess is a good way of putting it. We are happy to work around my child's getting married, I need to be gone for a week things. But conversely, then we want that same individual to be as flexible with us when we're like, oh my gosh, so-and-so broke their ankle. Can you do this for the next whatever? Because I feel that it's a very much a give and take thing. And the more that you are supportive of your staff, the more supportive they'll be of you.
I agree entirely. Are these paid hours?
We pay for every single hour that somebody works, and we give them a free campsite.
Oh,
The site, we give them a free site. We don't charge anything for it. We give free propane. We have decided to do $100 a month towards the electric. Somebody with a smaller rig, that is more than enough, even commercial electric rates in New York State. But if you have a 3 air conditioner fifth wheel, that may not be enough if you are leaving it on full blast. But we felt that kind of evens things out. And again, we offer that site whether they are a single or a pair or a family. And it can be a 30 or a 50 depending on availability and that sort of thing, because we have a certain space where we like to put our work campers, because then it's one of the earlier levels in the park. So if we do have a late arrival and we need to have us reluctantly do a later after-hour escort, it's a little bit easier for us to get that done.
That sounds fair enough. What's the starting salary for the work campers?
Okay, so what we're doing this year for all first-time work campers with us, we do prefer to hire experienced work campers, but first time with us, we are offering $16 an hour.
Okay.
And then the site, our average seasonal site is like a $4,000 to $5,000 site. So that's just what it is in New York. But we feel that with the propane and the electric, we're giving a really good package. I would say that it's a good value for them. And that is also why we take our time hiring and are a little picky about it.
But then you're saying that the experienced work campers have a possibility of making even more?
In future years,
Yes,
if
okay.
they come back. But that is where we are every bunch of this year in New York State. As my daughter telling law attorney, that law employment law in New York State, you must legally post a range if there is a range for the position.
Okay.
So we are posting for a first-time work camper with us, and that is the salary for the first year.
What kind of traits and qualifications are you looking for in your work campers?
Dependability, drama-free, and a specific skill set of some kind, because everybody has different skill sets. There's some things I'm really good at. There's some things I'm passable at, and there's some things I'm probably the last person you want to do. But if we're desperate, I can. And so someone who's willing to learn new things is great. But having some skill set, whether it's good at customer service or you're really crafty and you want to do activities, or you're a clean freak and we can teach you how we clean cabins and bathrooms at a campground, whatever it is. But we like them to have something that they're passionate about and feel that they're good at.
Okay. So you had said earlier that they'll be assigned to one specific area. So it might be that they're going to be doing activities, but upon occasion, the campground is busy. Somebody's got a wedding, somebody was injured or sick or whatever. They'll be expected to fill in on some of these other things. So it sounds like you do cross training.
We do. We cross train. We call it floating. You'll float from one department to another. We do have one person we've hired that all they're going to be next year is a floater. Like every day will be different for them, but they've work camped for many years and they love the idea. And we know that we could patch holes as needed, which is really exciting. But yes, we know that all of us have preferences. There are things I prefer to do over others. We're all human beings. We're like that. We all also have to do what we don't like to do when it needs to be done. And we try to not ask that very often of someone, but especially in our space, emergencies arise. That is one of the other things we do is we do have an emergency training meeting every year. And thank heaven we did. We just literally had it on a Sunday afternoon this year, and the following weekend we were landing a helicopter, doing a life flight. Yeah.
That's a God thing, actually.
Yes, because we couldn't have done it then. Like we were very prepared because we had just gone over all of it, so it worked out really well. And oddly enough, it's the second one I've had at this campground, and I've never had a life flight at any other campground I've owned. But I know that it's because we're remote. And both times we've needed something, they've chosen instead to bring in a helicopter and fly them to a really good hospital. because the flight on the helicopter would be shorter than the drive by ambulance to one that didn't have a lot of services.
That makes sense. A Workamper had specific skills such as carpentry or electricity, plumbing. Is that something that you could use?
Yes. And we are fortunate that because I've been in this space for a long time, I sometimes get work campers that cycle back, is what I call it. They don't want to commit to coming back multiple years in a row, but they will cycle back and come work for me again. Maybe it's been 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
We've also hired work campers sometimes mid-season that have worked for us before when wherever they were, just for whatever reason, wasn't a good fit. I think it's important for both employers and work campers to realize that sometimes every place is not a good fit, but it could be a good fit for somebody else. Sometimes it's personality. Sometimes it's just weather or allergies or whatever. So things do happen. But I think as much as people possibly can, it's important on both sides to honor the commitments and the statements that somebody has offered.
When do you begin recruiting for the next season?
We actually I put up posts, I think it was in July, hired one work camper couple for next year, but then just wasn't really getting what I was looking for and thought maybe we put it up too soon or didn't describe it well enough. And so we took a pause and we just recently put up some posts again, and we did put it in the work camper group that you're affiliated with. And I remember them from the early newspaper mailer days when there was no electronic anything. So yes, I'm admitting how long I've been in the space. It's been since the 90s, but the process is still the same. You talk to people, they talk to you. Everybody's trying to figure out everybody, see how it fits. I have a work camper that's going to come to our park on Wednesday this week, even though we're just about shut down or winterizing, we don't have campers there, because I want them to get a feel for how huge it is, because they're interested in a maintenance position. And I just want them to understand that we are not 20 acres and we couldn't be more sprawled out, and just want to make sure that it's a good fit for all of us. And since all of our management team is still working, thought since they're close enough, they could come. It's a bit of a drive, but close enough they could do it. It's always great when you can either meet somebody in person or do a Zoom call or something. I think that's better than just the phone. So I love those new technology options.
Are you accepting work camper applications all year round, or are you specifically looking for them to come in like toward the end of the season?
We normally do. We will hire with somebody that I have known for a while or had an amazing skill set, said, we want to come to your area in 2027. I might hire for 2027 and right now in 2025, if it was a good fit for everybody, with the caveat that I don't know what the starting salary will be, but here's what it is, right? So I always also oddly encourage work campers sometimes that when they're like, I can't find a job, and I see posts, and I always respond with, I have sometimes hired work campers just because they called us. Like they called and said, we would really like to work in your area. We've done this before. Here's our skill set. I admire initiative. Sometimes that might be a suggestion for somebody if they're not seeing a post or something in an area where they'd like to work.
That's a great suggestion, actually. What's involved in the hiring and interviewing process?
For us, either my management team interviews them first and then all three of us do, or sometimes I interview them, decide I like them, and then our management team does. It just depends. I try to let my management team do the initials because I am not at this park full time. I am a semi-absentee owner this time, which is new for me and oftentimes difficult for me. And luckily I have understanding staffs that I haven't really quite figured out how to let go yet. Probably never will 100%. So I a lot of times let them do the initial, but if they're, depending on what we're doing and the timing and whether or not it's a candidate that we know is probably applying a lot of places and super awesome and we need to jump on it quicker, sometimes I will do that and then say, okay, can we schedule another meeting? So we do that. We do background checks. Somebody's background, depending on how long ago it was, is not necessarily a automatic no. We do have lots of children and families. We do definitely do certain types of background checks that would be an absolute hard no, because we just want all of our families to be safe.
That makes perfect sense.
And going to be using equipment in the park and that sort of thing. They need to not have a DWI or DUI on their record.
That makes sense.
But it's a safety thing.
Right.
And even though somebody might be very familiar with a Massey Ferguson tractor, that doesn't mean they can instantly hop in and run a different brand of tractor. The controls are at a different place, etc. So you obviously need to be 100% on your game when you're learning to use a new piece of equipment and stuff. Safety is important.
What can a work camper do to really stand out if they wanted to come and work for you? You had mentioned call you and tell you that they wanted to do that. Is there anything else they can put in their resume or their application to show that they're really interested?
I think oftentimes showing where you previously worked and not having gaps on your resume is important. I think it's okay to show that you were at a park for a short period of time if it wasn't a good fit. Like I mentioned previously, not every fit is a fit for everyone, but be upfront about it. Maybe be upfront about why it wasn't a good fit and go from there. The reason I like to hire experienced work campers, and I know there are some parks that only want to hire first timers because they want to train them their way. But I just feel that usually if somebody's work camped previously, they have a better understanding of how fluid things can be at a campground and how stuff just comes up and stuff just happens and things change because they have to change on the fly. So I guess flexibility, showing your flexibility would be an important thing to have on your resume, because anything hospitality related is a fluid space because you just never know what's going to pop up.
You had mentioned gaps in the work camper history. I know that several work campers will work for a couple of years, save up some extra money, and then take extended time off to go traveling. That's okay, I'm assuming, that they put that on their resume to explain what the gap is?
Just having an explanation. And sometimes people work camp for a bit. Life changes. Maybe there's a new grandbaby or whatever in their life, and they take 5 or 6 years off and worked at JCPenney's and then decide that they want to get back on the road again. And we always offer, if somebody talked to previous, we are happy to do that, because we also to feel we want references, we're willing to give references.
Very good. What draws people to your area? In other words, what can work campers do when they're not working?
There are tons and tons of historical things to go visit in our area. Lots of weird, little, small, interesting museums that can be within a half-hour drive. We have a fossil museum in our town. There is a Iroquois museum. We have state parks. But we are more of a escape than because we're 3 hours from New York City. So people with a couple days off in a row could go into the city and visit. And a lot of people have never been to New York City, so they enjoy doing that. We are roughly an hour-ish from Cooperstown and the Baseball Hall of Fame. I live in the Albany area. I'm like an hour and 15 minutes from my park. So within an hour and a half, there's a zillion things to do. Exactly where the campground is, there isn't a lot to do. We have a small grocery store about 20 minutes away. But a big grocery store or Walmart is more like 40 minutes. It's also why we carry certain things in our store or have availabilities. Like we have Hunt's Brothers Pizza concession because we are a bit from somewhere, but it's not a super long bit. But I would say we're more of a destination place with everywhere around.
With you being remote, when the work campers have time off, are they having consecutive days off? Is it possible for them to go like to New York City if they want to?
Yeah, depending on what kind of schedule they would like. Sometimes we can do 3 days off in a row, or they can request to have 4. Like it goes back again to that whole flexibility conversation. I know that people work camp because they want to see the country. So I think that it's important for work campers to be flexible with each other. Many years ago at a different park, I remember the work camper couple that wanted to go do something, and everybody went above and beyond to glue everything together so they could take an entire week off at pretty much fairly last minute, like 2 weeks before it happened. Okay. Everybody did a great job. When they came back, they threw a hissy fit because we didn't give them their 2 regular days off that week. Because again, everybody else had worked for them and they weren't available. Needless to say, they didn't make it through the end of the season because they obviously weren't team players. They wanted everybody to do for them. But so that's what we're looking for in a team, is just people that are flexible. We'll work with anything. We have a housekeeper coming back next year for a partial season, but she was absolutely amazing this year. And her daughter is getting married in Europe. And so we won't have her the entire season. But I'm like, you know what? You're going to be here for de-winterizing, helping get the cabins and the bathrooms and everything set up. We'll take a partial season. Would I take a partial season for a first-time work camper? I don't know, maybe. But definitely that is something, as I said, when people cycle back through, as I call it, definitely willing to do.
Is there one thing that you wish all work campers knew before they came to work for you?
I think it's pretty obvious and very talkative. I am definitely a squirrel. So they need to know that the owner of the park is a squirrel. I squirrel off on topics all the time. I have trouble staying on task, and I'm always thinking about ideas and randomly noticing something else that needs to be fixed. And then my wonderful maintenance manager, Jeremy, be like, okay, what order is the priority list this week? Because it does sometimes change, and sometimes it changes just because something unexpected comes up, or I find a good deal on material so we can build something that maybe I didn't think we were building for a year or two, but I found this, so let's go make this happen now. So I guess I'm a squirrel. Gina, who's our park manager and front desk manager, was the front desk manager previously. Gina is a duck. She's incredibly organized, keeps everybody on task, and is everything that I'm not. So I do try very hard to hire what I'm not, or what we don't have for core staff that's returning, because we all have different skill sets. And I think that's what makes the world go round. So maybe that's something, I guess, that everybody should know. We like being 3 hours from New York City. On any given weekend in our park, you can hear people speaking Russian, Polish. We get people from all over the world because we have camper guests from all over, just because of where we're geographically located. And then also, especially because we are a KOA. And so that is a brand and a name that people know, not just in the US, but worldwide. I think that's kind of one of the super fun things to know about our place, is that you'll just get to talk to people from everywhere.
Excellent. Where can people get more information about this opportunity, or to send you an application if they wanted to come work for you?
So we do have our open jobs posted on Work at KOA, and we've also posted on your Workamper Facebook page, and that they can get a very good description there of the different jobs and duties that we have. And depending on what their skill sets are, they can reach out. We did post the job as a general floater position. What we are most in need of right now is an activity couple or individual for next year, but we do want to hire 2 people for it. But that is not a full-time job. So if someone's looking for full-time, which we hope they are, especially if they're single, because we will give them that free site, then they need to be comfortable working a couple of days a week in one of the other departments.
Okay, fair enough. What is the website for the campground if people wanted to go in there and just look at pictures and see what kind of amenities you offer?
So it's koa.com/Catskill, CATSKILL, or they can just type in Catskill Mountains KOA and we'll pop up if they want to just do a Google search. People have posted lots of random photos and stuff over the years of our park. And again, as I said, we've only been at KOA for 2 years. Prior to that, it was called Nickerson's, which is very confusing because there are 2 other Nickersons in a 3-hour radius. One is in another family-owned campground in another state. One is a state park. So I thought that was a little confusing. And I personally love being part of the KOA system because I greatly appreciate the marketing powerhouse that KOA is. So for me, that's great because they can help introduce so many new people to our property. And I like the standards. Working for a KOA, you're going to find that The bathrooms are very nice because it is a requirement of being a KOA. So if you're a housekeeper, you're going to like that because it makes your job a lot easier. We use the KOA reservation system. It's not that hard to learn. We will train. Even though we're saying we want prior work camping experience as our preference, they don't have to have ever used K2 before. It's not that hard to learn. We're happy to do that.
The best part about working for a KOA franchise is that if you like the KOA system, there is always an opportunity to get a job at a different KOA in a different part of the country.
Yes, there is. And as such a longtime owner, I've owned 3 different KOAs in my lifetime. I know a lot of people, and I am not above, or I have many times made a phone call and say, hey, I saw they have an ad for a winter position. I got a great individual or couple. I would like to talk them into coming back next year. Can I help you work something out? And I love that repeat work camper, but you don't have to be a repeat either. We have a lot of wonderful one-time wonders, and that's fine too, because we know that different people have different expectations as to what work camping is for them. And that's perfectly fine. Everybody has a different idea of what they want to do. But we are conveniently enough located that I have had, even here at the park I currently own, I've had work campers repeats that have never repeated before because I guess they also like us, but also because there still was a lot of stuff they could still go see that they hadn't had a time to get their whole bucket list done yet.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that with me today, Cathy. I appreciate it. And always love hearing your stories. And I'm a big fan of KOA myself. So I thank you for sharing this opportunity with the Work Camper community. And I wish you the best of luck in 2026 and beyond.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
If you're looking for a work camping position in a peaceful mountain setting with lots of green space and natural beauty, then the Catskill Mountains Gilboa KOA might be the perfect fit. Their season typically runs from Mother's Day through Columbus Day, and the team works together to make sure every guest has a memorable stay every day. Owner Cathy Reinard looks for dependable, drama-free applicants with a willingness to learn. Whether it's cleaning cabins, mowing grass, leading crafts for kids, or greeting guests at check-in, she said flexibility is the key to success at her park. Work campers enjoy paid positions starting at $16 per hour, plus a free RV site with propane and a $100 monthly allowance to help cover electricity. They also have a chance to live in one of the most beautiful parts of New York, close to Cooperstown, historic museums, and within a few hours of New York City. Cathy said she appreciates initiative, so if you think this would be a great fit for you, don't hesitate to reach out to her directly. The Catskill Mountains Gilboa KOA is more than a workplace. It's a campground where work campers can enjoy nature, connect with travelers from around the world, and create memories that last long after the season ends. For a closer look at the campground, visit www.koa.com/campgrounds/Catskill. There you'll find photos of the facility and learn more about the park's amenities. To apply for a work camping job, visit www.workatkoa.com and search for Catskill Mountains Gilboa KOA. You can also look for the park's listings on the Workamper News Facebook group, where Cathy posts open positions. Today's episode was sponsored by Workamper News, much more than just a job listing website. When you put the tools of this professional service into action, you'll find out just how easy it can be to turn your work camping dreams into reality. A Workamper membership opens the door to a one-stop shop for all things work camping. Being the original resource for work camping, you'll find the largest number of job listings, be able to connect with the community of work campers, and view resources compiled by experts who have been enjoying the RV lifestyle for many years. If you're serious about leading a successful and enjoyable work camping lifestyle, then membership is for you. Join today at www.workamper.com. Embark on new adventures today with the support of Workamper News behind you. That's all for this week's show. Next time I'll be speaking with a father who travels with his 2 children and created a platform to chronicle their adventures. I'll have that interview in the next episode of The Workamper Show. Thank you for listening.